Hey, welcome back to Tone 26 TV. Today I'll be making, I want to sear a piece of salmon, and I'm gonna make some sauteed spinach and for my low carb dinner. All right, so I've been defrosting my salmon. I'll go ahead and cut the package open. Let that drain out. All right, I'm gonna get a wet napkin. All right, so next thing I want to do now is I want to season my salmon. And I'm going to use, matter of fact, I'm going to use my Chef Paul Berdal Seafood Magic. Get this from Kroger, inexpensive. All right, so I'm going to hold the seasoning kind of high over the fish so that it doesn't clump up on the fish as I'm seasoning it. All right, turn it over. Season the other side. Rinse my hands off. Make sure I wipe off this my seasoning. I don't want to need that raw fish juice on that. All right. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to let this marinate in the refrigerator for about a half an hour to about an hour, because if you put it right in the skillet, you're going to lose all the seasonings in the skillet. And I want the salmon to absorb some of the seasoning. Flip that over again. I'm going to pat the seasoning in a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna let that sit in the refrigerator for about a half an hour to about an hour, depending on how much time you have. And I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna sear the salmon and saute my spinach. See you back in about 30 minutes or so. Hey, welcome back. It's been about 30 minutes. And took my salmon out that has been marinating in my Seafood Magic Paul Madame seasoning that I got from Kroger. All right, so I have the oven preheating at 350 degrees. I have my skillet that's on the stove. I put that on medium, about medium to high heat, just over medium. Have that skillet heating up, and I have my other frying pan over here. Well, actually my other skillet. That's gonna be for my spinach. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get my spinach out. All right, so what I'm gonna do first is I have my skillet preheating. I like to use my cast iron skillet because it's gonna give me a nice searing look. It's gonna give it a nice color on both sides. So I have that heating up, and into that skillet, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of grapeseed oil so I don't burn my fish. It's also gonna give me a nice little glaze at the end. All right, so I have that skillet heating up. Stove, waiting for the stove to get to 350. And I'll open up my spinach. I'm gonna use about 2 handfuls of spinach. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn the skillet on for my spinach. And for my spinach, I'm gonna use about a tablespoon, it's not a tablespoon, but actually a teaspoon of butter. A little less than a teaspoon. Use half a teaspoon or quarter teaspoon of salt, pepper, and everybody loves the garlic. All right, so I'm gonna put my butter in the skillet. I'm gonna use 2 handfuls of spinach. All right, I have that on medium heat. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt, pepper, and garlic to my spinach. And once again, the spinach is on medium heat. I don't want to use too much salt. That's about a 1/4 tablespoon of salt, a little pepper, and garlic. Go ahead and saute the spinach on medium heat. I'm gonna let it cook for a couple of seconds. Then I'm gonna toss it. So I have my salmon ready to go and a little bit of butter for the finishing glaze at the end. I think my skillet is about warm now. Make sure I get warm first. If you want to, you can throw a little bit of salt in there and see if it fries up or give you a little bit of noise. Let you know if it's ready. And it's definitely not ready. Let that heat up a little bit more. Sometimes I turn it up on high, then turn it back down to medium before I put the meat in, just so I can make sure it gets nice and warm fast. All right, I'll start tossing my spinach while I'm waiting on the skillet to finish heating up. And this is actually gonna be a quick little meal. I want to sear the salmon for 3 minutes on each side. And then I'm putting the oven to finish it off for about 4 minutes. All right, so 3 and 3, 6 plus 4, we're looking at a 10-minute dinner over here. All right, so it's gonna be a low carb meal. So I'm not gonna have any carbs with this meal, just my salmon and my sauteed spinach. All right, my spinach is starting to wilter a little bit. I think I'm ready to sear my salmon. And I'm actually gonna cook it for 3 minutes on both sides. I'm gonna set my timer. And that's just over medium heat. All right, it's a nice sound. It means the skillet is nice and warm. And once again, it's just over medium heat. And I'm gonna time that for 3 minutes. I'm gonna leave it at rest for 3 minutes. I'm gonna flip it for another 3 minutes. Then I'm gonna put it in the oven for another 4 minutes. And then I bring it out at the end to show you my final presentation. All right, see you back in about 10 minutes. Back to part 3, we're about done over here. I have 42 seconds left on my salmon before I take it out. All right, so I seared it for 3 minutes on both sides. And then I put it in the oven for actually 3 minutes because I have a 1/4 pound piece of salmon, which is about 4 ounces, and it's actually thinly sliced. So I didn't want to overcook it. Feel free, if you like yours well done, to leave it in longer, but you can always put it back in the oven if it's not to your liking. So I always make sure I take my food out before I know it's ready. All right, so I seared it for 3 minutes on both sides. All right. And once again, I love my cast iron skillet because I get that nice color for my salmon. All right, so now for this glaze, I'm gonna add just about a teaspoon of butter to the skillet. Move that around the skillet a little bit. So that's just under a teaspoon of butter, and I have my grapeseed oil that's in there together. That's gonna make a nice little glaze for my salmon. Salmon is never dry. If your salmon is dry, you're doing something wrong. Try a new restaurant. Or try one of my recipes on my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and place my salmon on my bed of spinach. Put the little glaze on top. Keep it nice and moist. All right, so I didn't even use an entire teaspoon of butter. I still have some butter in my skillet because I really don't like to cook with butter too often. But there we go. All right, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll let this rest for a minute before I dive into it. Let it cool down a little bit, let the juices go back to where they belong, and see you next time.